What was your writing process? Because you are still paying the bills and holding it together. Actually, quite accomplished career. We were colleagues for a while. We attended many of the same conferences. We won some of the same awards, and we crossed paths. I have committed more and more time to my creativity, much at the expense of my balance sheet. But to your point, my kids have grown to the point of independence, and I feel that I've been able to shift gears, whether voluntarily or instinctively, again, to your point, where something was missing, and I can't do anything else but write at this point while haphazardly paying the bills. But it seems like you've been an upstart citizen and career focused. How have you been able to juggle? I'm sure many of our listeners would like to hear how you have maintained ostensibly a much healthier work-life balance than your humble podcaster here has been able to do.
Yeah. Well, I think that having my children, grown and on their own now, means weekends are, with kids, weekends are the kids. That's what it's soccer practice or it's whatever it might be, gymnastics or whatever's going on. So yeah, those days are behind me now. So during the week, I really don't write much creatively. My work is demanding. I mean, as you know, Spitz. But on the weekends, I'll pour several hours in on usually both days, Saturday and Sunday. And the other thing is, I don't think quantity by itself is the major requirement, because, like I said, you almost have to let it breathe in between. I honestly, I'll write, intensely for an hour or two, and then take a break and maybe do a little bit more, and then you got to let the poem rest and come back to it with fresh eyes and go, okay, this is. And I find that I write in sort of intense sprints, and then I'm kind of done for the day. I really can't do it for hours and hours and hours. I just wrote a new poem, which I'm excited about. It's kind of it's called America Continued, picking up on an Allen Ginsberg poem called America that he wrote, decades ago. It's kind of my own take on it. But I found that I really had to just keep tackling it in short sprints, like a half hour, and then I'd stop, and then another half hour or another hour. So I think I'm just not the most I'm not the most prolific writer, though, for that reason.
Well,
Takes me a
it's
long time
quality
to
over
finish.
quantity, as you mentioned. And I think you're blessed in choosing a modality, specifically poetry, where this kind of agility and laser focus lends itself perfectly to the craft itself. I think I got the worst of both worlds, where my latest book was an obsessive focus on individual poems comprising an entire novel. So I obsessed over 3-line paragraphs, which turned it in a sense into lyric poetry, and it's 120,000 words. So I had the ridiculous laser focus, but with volume. And this might explain the problems I'm having with my personal balance sheet in terms of the sheer energy that it takes. But it's great that you're able to find that balance, and in this sense, nothing's missing. Where, to your point, I've heard this said from many artists and creative people. Mathematicians are similar. Some of the most renowned mathematicians can really only sustain their concentration for a couple hours at a time, and then they're done for the day. And Hemingway famously got up at 5 a.m. and wrote until maybe 10 o'clock, and he was done for the day. That was it. So being smart, working smarter, not harder, and appreciating that these creative juices are selective, moody, and you don't need to burn yourself out. You don't need to crank out hundreds of thousands of words to accomplish what you're trying to do when you have sensitivity to the craft and confidence in your own ability.